Hi, good morning, I'm Rob. I'm standing in front of our lumber rack. Here we have some soft maple. We're going to use this for some projects that are going to be painted. I'm going to take you through the process that we use to turn it from rough lumber into finished parts. The material arrives on a pretty big truck. It comes from Pennsylvania. We're in New Jersey. Typically we have a cut list. This is, you can see we have the name of the job, Holly Lane, 1 inch, that's the finish thickness, and a letter designating all the parts, their names, and this is their rough dimension and the quantity. So with this, I'll select the boards that fit this profile the best. I'll look for defects, width especially, so if we have a piece that's 2 7/16, I'll look for something that I know is going to yield, a little over 5 inches by the time it's milled, so I can get 2 pieces from one of the, jointed and plain boards. So I grab the boards, I mark them up, and I take them over, or I bring the miter station over to my work area. So once all the boards are jointed on the face and one edge, I'll take them over to the planer and I'll plane them down to a thickness. It's generally about a 1/16 thicker than the finished dimension. I'm at the planer. This is the stock that I milled up yesterday. If you notice, we have all the boards on these little sticks. This sticker is a 1/2 inch square. We made these at the old shop, painted the ends, and we have a box that we keep these in. A lot of times we'll have used all of the stickers. We'll have so much lumber milled up. This is just for that job. We have everything labeled on the ends. This is all 1/16 heavy. Today I'll go through and I'll kind of check some, I'll spot check the boards and see how they fared over the 24 hours, see if anything has to be rejointed. So these boards are going to go through the planer one more time. We'll bring them down 1/32 strong of an inch. John, why don't you give me a hand? You get on the receiving end over there and we'll get to it. All right, everything's been planed. It's, like I said, a 32nd over. It's just a little bit if you don't have calipers. We're going to take everything over to the wide belt sander for the final step. We're going to sand it on both sides. Gets rid of any little snipe, maybe some little imperfections that the planer might leave. And I'd be remiss if I didn't thank you, John, for catching all of this stuff.
My pleasure. It's fun to help out. I almost just knocked that board over instead of just standing behind the camera.
Yeah.
So are we going to wheel this over to the drum sander so it's still casters?
Yeah. It was down on the floor. We usually have all this stuff stickered up on rolling tables, but we've got quite a few jobs in the shop right now, so we were at a loss for table space, so I had to sticker everything right here next to the planer.
So you have to kind of dance around it to get from one side.
Yeah. As I was planing another job this morning, I really had to walk around. But we're lucky we got everything on this this rolling table. We'll wheel it around to the machine and get going.
All right.
So we're going to sand both sides of the board with 80 grit. That's what we have in the machine now. We're going to finish sand with random orbit sanders. So the 80 grit is just to, like I said, get rid of the snipe, bring us down 1/32 of an inch. And John is going to help me out once again. We've got everything jointed, planed and sanded down to final thickness. Here at the Unisaw, where we tend to do all of the ripping for a hardwood, got a 50-tooth general purpose blade. The last thing, I have my cut list. Everything's marked. I've set the fence right now to 2 7/16, where most of my pieces are going to be cut. I'll give the boards one final inspection to see if there's anything that needs to be cut around, any imperfections that I'd rather not have in the final project. So that's a little bit of what it takes to go from rough lumber to milled up parts. You can see there's quite a bit of burning. There was a lot of tension in this soft maple. We're going to have to, sand that out. Some of it will get milled out when we actually cut the joinery. There's going to be another video on that. We've had some knives cut. If you want to find out more about this project and how it turns out, just follow us on Instagram at Today's Craftsman or at Green Street Joinery. I want to thank John for coming out today, not only filming this, but giving me a hand when we milled and sanded this stuff all up. Thanks, John.
My pleasure.